So she's getting angry, and eventually she loses her temper, and she goes, I'll just have nachos and cheese. And they go, man, we don't have nachos and cheese. And she was like, I'll have nothing. And then she storms off.
I didn't know your mom was British.
Yeah.
Hello, my little bear cubs, and welcome back to another episode of Secondhand Therapy. Need to remind you that we're not therapists. We are not experts. This is not a substitute for therapy, and this is not professional advice of any kind. You're going to hear some ads throughout the episode. Other than that, if you want to contact us, you can go to our Instagram or any of our social media. We have a link tree with a contact us button. Enjoy the episode. Thanks for being here.
Well, look who's back. Back from the fucking dead, my
Guess
guy.
who's back? Back again. Yeah, bro. People couldn't. Well, some people thought you were Ken.
Yeah.
And then some people were very concerned about, where's the other guy? You don't even know his name?
Yeah, that's what I also love is, we don't really have identities. It's just guy in the hat or other guy.
The guy with the tattoos, the big guy, the guy in the hat. Yeah. Hey, we're tagged in every video.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
Hey, welcome back, man.
Thanks, man. It's good to be back, you know?
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
I don't have a
really.
therapist. So
Yeah, what's going on with you? You're free balling out there.
Yeah. You know, my therapist was unable to continue treating me now that we do not live in California. For my last couple sessions, I was driving back across the state line to do it. And yeah, she was like, you know, we've kind of broached termination. And she's like, I'm going to be honest with you. The front office is kind of on me to get us terminated.
Oh, no.
And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I kind of hate doing this drive anyway. She's like, yeah. She's like, and you know, it gets to a point where we don't want to like string this out. Like we have discussed, when you move, you're going to find a new therapist. She's like, so she's like, so next session will be our last one. We'll do termination and wrap up. And I didn't go to that session. So
Oh, shit.
we're done. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, bro, I don't want to go fucking wrap up. Oh, you want to
my
wrap
God.
up? I don't know, fucking, nah. So I didn't go to that.
Wow.
Yeah. And another reason why, they have a policy of like late cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
You only get, I think you get one and you're on a list, and then two, they terminate you.
Oh.
And I wanted to do a late cancellation. I was like, yeah, finally gonna do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So no therapy for daddy,
Damn.
you know?
How's it been?
It's all right.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about a lot of parts work with my girl.
Oh, no.
Doing like she's because she started parts work with her therapist a few months back.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of, and I'm, again, not an expert in any way,
Yeah.
but she still is just like, I don't know how to talk to parts. So I've been kind of just like walking her through what my therapist used to do with me.
Yeah.
And the questions that they would ask. I don't know.
So now you're just doing therapy.
I'm just therapizing people. I'm a therapist.
I stopped going to therapy so I could start.
So I could start fixing my girlfriend.
Yeah. Doing therapy.
Yeah. So that's what's up
Wow.
with me. What's going on with you?
Oh, buddy. You know, same old, same old. Actually, not same old.
I was going to
same
say dead mom, people pleasing, ADHD.
There's a lot of new stuff mixed in. Ooh. Oh, God.
wait.
Where to even begin?
He beat COVID, started doing therapy different. That's what we like to hear.
Back from the dead and living brand new.
Yeah.
First off, I don't think we've talked since I've been on the new meds. I'm on the new cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and game changer.
Yeah.
I've been, this is the update for everybody. I've been happy Is that how you say it? Happy?
Some people would pronounce it that way.
I don't know, man. The first few days, I was like, where is the doom? Where
Yeah.
did it go?
Yeah.
The first few days, I couldn't stop smiling. I was dancing in the fucking shower.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. The first day, I drank my normal amount of coffee
Mm-hmm.
with the Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
Learned the hard way. Got to cut back on the coffee in the morning. You don't need Adderall and coffee.
Yeah.
You just need
Yeah.
a little bit of both.
And that's on common sense. But yeah.
Hey, man, first day, you know?
On Earth?
And I remember, I told you this, it's so funny. I remember feeling so good. I went for a bike ride that morning. Like, I got all my tasks done. Like,
Well, yeah.
yeah. What?
I just remember you said, all right, I'm going to go for a bike ride. And then you were back in 8 minutes.
No.
I'm not exaggerating.
I was
like, oh, that was, and then you speed walking around the house. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's definitely on Adderall.
Yeah. And then took a shower in the morning, which I never do. I'm just like a night owl by just habit. You know what I mean? Like, unless
you kind of shower as your day requires. Like if you're going out, you're going to grab a shower, get dressed, and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a day shower guy unless I have something. And that morning, I was like, I'm going to get in the shower. I remember I was dancing and singing in the shower. And I was like, God, I feel incredible.
Yeah.
And I remember looking down at my hands.
Yeah. Okay. And you realize that this is cocaine.
And I was like, yeah, I really did. I was like, God, I could chew through a fucking tree right now. And then
what does that have to do with your hands?
I felt so like I had so much energy just pulsating through me, you know?
So you wanted to chew on something.
Yeah, I was like, God, I could just fucking, you know, like.
I could chew through a tree right now.
Yeah. And then,
hell yeah.
And then I felt my heart just, pap, 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 and I was like, oh, I'm about to have a panic attack, I think. And then I had to tell myself that, like, hey, you're okay. You're fine. Like, worst case scenario, we're gonna go lay down. Well, that's just what's gonna happen. We're gonna go lay down. So I turned off the shower very quickly, got out, and just chilled for a minute.
Yeah.
And had a nice little reset, and then I was fine the rest of the day. And then the rest of the week, I slowly was like, what is the amount of coffee I should have in the morning with Adderall?
Yeah, I don't think it was the coffee, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. First time on Adderall sounds like what happened.
Yeah.
And that's okay because we have to adjust to meds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm blaming it on the Starbucks.
Yeah. Other than that little, snafu.
P.S. Fuck Starbucks.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Other than that little snafu.
Great.
Fucking great.
Cool. So what are you talking about in therapy?
Buddy.
Yeah, you can keep trying to avoid it.
I've been
like I went to therapy this week.
Yeah, I know. Like,
yeah, keep trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't go to my last session because it was dumb. But yeah, please let me continue to throw judgment on you. Stop trying to skirt it and tell us.
Thought we were having a nice little banter, but
such a hypocrite.
I've been stuck on frustration. I had 2 sessions back to back that were about frustration. And it was mainly in the realm of I'm frustrated by others and I want to help them, but not only can I not help them, they're not interested in my help.
Yeah.
They don't want any help.
Okay.
And that is frustrating for me because
you're controlling.
Yeah, I think they need help. Yeah. They need saving, and they don't.
They need saving.
Yeah.
So codependent.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I had well, first of all, I kept having these run-ins online where people were like, I have some friends back home that were commenting on some things, and they were bringing up like the way things used to be between us all the time, or how I used to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of started with that, where I checked in with a buddy I haven't checked in with in a long time, and
Does this person listen to the podcast?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, throughout this episode, going to be really hard to protect identities.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. I've been trying to think about
Oh.
that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. But
This is real shit.
this is real shit.
We're not here to protect anybody except our own egos, guys. Except our own egos.
Yeah, and but I just wanted I felt like the snag that we were having was that that they still viewed me like I was 20 years old, like when we
Yeah.
used to hang out.
Yeah.
And
People have a really hard time accepting other people evolving.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I guess maybe it's the mirrored frustration then, because I'm coming from an end of being like, yeah, I'm not that way anymore, and I've done X, Y, and Z. Like, come with me. Like, let's go. And they're upset. I feel like on their end about being like, why aren't you this person that you
Yeah.
used to be?
Or they try to convince you, like, do you find that to be a thing when they try to tell you, like, oh, this isn't who you are?
Mm.
It is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is who I am now. It might, yeah. I didn't used to be like this. You're right.
Yeah.
I have changed.
Yeah. People are like, you never used to care about this or that.
Yeah.
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 And
it's
I
true.
do now.
And I'm a better person now. Yeah.
And it was like kind of that shared frustration of like and I just wanted to like clear the air with them and just be like, look, I think the miscommunication that we keep having is that you think that I am the same as I was when I was 20, and I'm not that person that you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it went okay. And then there was a couple like aftermath text and catch ups here with another friend from back home, who had heard from them, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, they feel like you were saying that you were better than them, or that you outgrew them, or this or that." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify that I'm not the 20-year-old Michael that you knew.
Dude, the fact that people will be like, well, they feel this way. Why aren't they telling me?
Yeah.
This is the problem. This is the problem. Why
Yeah.
are you telling me their feelings?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with, because I even talked to them about acceptance and things like that, and I was like, yeah, I know, because they were talking about how they haven't changed and that they are proud of that they are still the same and this and that, which is fine. Like, again, like I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I know that, and I accept you for that. Like, I know who you are, and I'm still showing up in your life. I'm still checking in with you. I'm still asking about your family. I'm still, like, I still care about you, even though I know exactly who you are. So it's not about me, like, turning my back on them or, like, outgrowing them or thinking that I'm better than them or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, again, like, the miscommunication was just that. It was like,
How are you not outgrowing them?
not in the ways of, like, in a negative way about being like, oh, I don't want anything to do with you, or that I think I'm better than you or anything like that, because I've worked on myself. It's,
You think outgrowing somebody's a negative thing?
they were framing it like, yeah, they were like, you don't want anything to do with me.
Well, they're still 20 years old, so yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a little break.
Yeah.
If you guys would like to support the podcast, we would very much appreciate that. You can do so at Patreon. We have Patreon. We have a couple tiers. You can get ad-free episodes. You can get a lot of exclusives. Our other non-therapy podcasts, The Other Shit Show is on there. So please check it out. We'd love your support.
Yeah, and so we were talking about my therapist and I were talking about that kind of the frustration that I have that's rooted in my hometown
Yeah.
and how it's hard for me to see that people can be happy there because I was so unhappy there.
Yeah. People are there by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago I was visiting with a friend and I was doing some shows back home and she's an old friend of mine. She's been doing comedy forever. We hang out all the time. We talk all the time still. I was picking her up and we were driving over to the gig and she was going to open the shows for me and that weekend. And I was asking her this a few years ago. I was like, "What are you still doing here in Ohio?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "What are you doing here? Like, you're funny. You're this. You're that. Like, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm happy here." She's like, "I have a house here. My family's here. Like, I'm part of the scene here. Like, like this is like I'm happy here."
Did you feel bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Because
uncomfortable.
because I it didn't even register. I was so unhappy with it's so complex, like not only what my town has turned into, we just pills and overdoses and fucking factories and now Trumpers and this and that. Like, it's just not the same. And I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I hear people back home that are happy there, I can't even wrap my head around it. And I guess it's extra, I got in this conversation with my buddy who I was catching up with about who still lives there and is still happy and loves it. And I was like, yeah, you don't understand, like that that city is taken so much from me. That's what I was talking to my therapist about. Like, it feels like that city is just taken. Like, that's where my mother died, where my mother
Yeah.
went to the fucking hospital and begged them to keep her overnight because she wasn't sure how to take the medication. And they sent her home and she died the next fucking morning. That's that's my hometown.
Yeah.
That's the hometown where my fucking brother, who was sober, who just got out of prison, who was came back to that town and was influenced. And his shit was laced. And he overdosed. And he died on a fucking mattress. And that's that fucking town. There's a lot of anger towards it. And a lot of hurt. And it's hard for me to see the good in it. Because it's so stained for me. That's the town that my father couldn't escape from. He wanted out so bad, and he couldn't fucking figure it out. And he got on pills there because a doctor gave him pills there when he was hurt. The same hospital that turned my mother away. So yeah, I'm kind of like, fuck that place.
Yeah.
And so my therapist was talking about getting down to the root of that nerve, trying to figure out where that anger and frustration lies, and because it is such a mind fuck, because I know there are good people there.
Mhm.
I personally know good people there. You know what I mean? Like, and logically, I know that it's not, the city didn't do anything, the state didn't do anything, to me or to my family, kind of thing. Like, logically, I know that. It still hurts.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find the good.
Is it hard for you to separate the city from the people?
Yeah, it all kind of blurs as a collective. And I think that's happened more recently, just with politics.
Mm.
Yeah, that has been an added frustration on top of everything else. It's like, I know you're good. I know there's good people there. Why would you fucking vote for this idiot?
Yeah.
Why do you fucking praise him? Why do you think he's like, I know you know better. I know you.
They don't know better.
That's I'm like,
How do they know better if they haven't changed and they're proud of that they've never changed?
because I know that they're not bad, or they're not ill-willed or anything like that. I know they're most of them, most of the people that I personally know are good and accepting and open-minded. And then you're just like, well, how could you fuck this up like this? That's the frustration for me, is like, in my head, it just doesn't add up. Because I have friends that I'm close with who I've known for years. I mean, 15 plus fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
And they are pro gay marriage, and they have trans people in their family, and they don't give a shit about any of that kind of stuff. And they have a lot of liberal values, and then they fucking vote for him, or they support him. And I'm like, why are you I know you're a good person. Why are you doing that? What do you do? How'd you come to that conclusion?
How do you know their values?
Because I've known them for 15 years. I've seen them in action. I've seen them help others. I've seen them support things. I've seen them, I've seen their actions. Like, close friends of mine.
Why is it important to you to keep these people in your life still? It sounds like you're not very aligned in any way anymore.
That's the thing. We are,
No, you're
because
not.
they have all the other qualities. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what you mean. You're describing somebody you do not align with, and you're trying to convince yourself that you do. That's what I'm hearing.
no, I'm saying that we share a lot of. That's the frustration. I'm saying we share a lot of the same values or thinking, but they.
How do you know that?
Because I just said
Yeah, 15 years ago. What about now?
No. I mean, I just mean I've known them for 15 plus years. So
Okay.
like, I know who they are, and like, they are still, like, I still see them in action. I still have conversations with them where they are like,
You're doing the same thing they're doing to you.
what?
I mean, like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think the reality is you're not close with these people anymore. I'm sure they tell you things about how they feel about trans family members or gay marriage. From what you're describing, I would guess they're telling you what they think you want to hear so you don't abandon them.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you're doing the same thing they're doing to you. Is I know who you are. I don't think you do. I think you do, and I think you want, and I think you're doing what you kind of do in a lot of things is you believe the ideal to be true
Yeah.
instead of what is probably an uncomfortable truth. And because you struggle to leave people behind and places behind, I think it's a lot easier to convince yourself of this narrative.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know these people at all. I
Yeah.
met them at your mother's funeral, and that was it. So I'm just sharing what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, I think it comes back around to what we talked about a few weeks ago. Like, I want to help.
they don't want help.
They don't want help.
They don't think they need help.
They don't need it. They don't want it.
Yeah.
I shared this with my therapist, and I think I've talked about it on here, but like it's one of my favorites. But it's that fable about the monkey and the fish, and I find myself often repeating it to myself to remind me.
Yeah.
In these situations, which is there's a monkey in a tree, and he's down by the river, and he sees a fish swimming in the river, and he's like, "Oh my God, that fish is drowning." And so he jumps in the river and he grabs the fish out and he climbs the tree and he puts the fish in the tree and he's like, "There, I saved your life." And of course the fish dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need my help. They're fine in the river.
Yeah.
Stay in the fucking tree. Stay in the fucking tree, you idiot.
Yeah.
And I just can't stay in the tree.
Why?
I want to go down and help them.
Why?
I don't know.
Why are you lying to me? It's codependence and controlling tendencies. And we know that. Lying to me. And all our little bear cubs.
Yeah.
Let's take another break.
Thank you guys for listening to Secondhand Therapy. If you want to support us, that would be amazing. We have a lot of cool merch. Look at all that cool merch. We have hoodies. We have T-shirts. We have hats. We have toboggans. Yes, toboggans. Check them out. They're great.
Beanies.
You can go on secondhandtherapypod.com, find all of our cool merch, and help support the show. Thanks for listening.
So you see, you're just a monkey in a tree. You know? Just a monkey in a tree. You see the little fish down there.
Yeah.
Even if you know the fish.
Yeah.
Even if you have history with the fish. Why not just let the fish go enjoy its little fish life?
I don't know, man.
Because maybe you and the fish aren't good for each other anymore.
Yeah.
What's stopping that?
I don't fucking know.
That fish know how to swim.
What if the fish needs me?
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of frustration.
With?
Yeah, not being able to control it.
Yeah. What would happen if you could control it? What's the fantasy?
I don't know.
Are you lying? I can't tell if you're lying. Are you lying?
No, I mean, what would I mean, it would be boring. Then everybody would think like me.
Yeah.
Everybody would be like me, and I don't want everybody to be like me.
You don't even want to be like you.
I don't even want to be like me. You know what? I'm going to the river.
Yeah.
I'm joining the fish. I don't know, man.
I relate. I mean, I get it. I relate to that. Like I've talked about, I feel that with you a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Yeah. I'm working on letting that go. When the episode with Ken,
Yeah.
when Ken was here, he said something that really stuck with me. And it wasn't even like a big, a big fucking point.
Yeah.
He just said, I don't give unsolicited advice anymore. I was like, wow. So like even now when you and I are talking, I try to be like, are you interested in what I have to say?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I know. I've been trying to, because if you go, no, because I do that to my girl. I'm like, we weren't like fighting, but we were talking about something. I don't know. I honestly don't remember. And I was like, I have a thought. And she goes, I don't want to hear it. And I was like, okay. But I know you can't do that.
No, not yet.
So I've been trying to ask.
Yeah.
Like, are you interested in what I have to say?
Do you now? What do you do with that thought if she says no? Do you write it down?
No. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm like, oh, but I have. Because in my mind, I have this nugget of genius.
Yeah.
But most likely, she knows what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. She probably knows it's true, but she's not ready to hear it. And she's probably not ready to face whatever it is. So for her own peace, I don't need that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been trying to ask.
Yeah.
I know every time you're like, yes. I don't want to be presumptuous. Maybe you want to tell me to fuck off. I don't know.
Yeah, I just...
So, point is, I relate to that of like seeing somebody being like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. We started going back through then about like, because I also had to fill him in because we're still new.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
3 months, 4 months, something like that.
Oh, I gotta find a new therapist.
Yeah. And so I'm still like filling him in on like, I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know anything about dad yet.
Yeah.
And so I had to like fill him in on dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's interesting when you have a new therapist and you're like, oh yeah. And then you're so used to the stories and the hurt and everything. And you're like, oh yeah. And then, he's like,
yeah.
They're just like,
oh, we don't need to breeze over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, can we go back to, I was like, oh yeah. Okay. Ooh, what's up? It's just so casual now that I've talked about it so much with other therapists and here and this and that. It's like, all right, what do you need?
Yeah. I noticed that when I started with my most previous, like, all right, here's history. Yeah, girlfriend's dead. Bleep that out.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Start it again.
Nah, leave it. Who gives a shit? But bleep it out. Yeah, and she's like, oh. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a jarring thing to happen to a human being.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird how, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we went all through dad in one of those sessions.
Yeah.
And about the frustration about like he couldn't make it out of town and this and that and the guilt that that's it, is like the guilt that I carry with like not being able to help just not being able to help when I wish I could have. That's a big one for me. And I think that might be why I'm just linking this now. I think that's maybe why I keep people around and I try to help, and like I keep that open because I've had a lot of situations in my life where it is too late to help and I could have done more.
No, you couldn't. Go ahead. That's the dream. That's always the dream.
There are, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You could have flown home and yelled at the people in the hospital until they kept your mom. Yeah, there's a lot of fantasies. It's not real.
Yeah.
You can't control life.
Yeah.
Anything you think you could have done, it's not real.
No. And the key to letting go of that is forgiveness, and forgiveness is so fucking hard. Like,
Forgiving yourself?
yeah.
Hmm.
I remember telling you this story when we first moved here. It's just the way grief happens. Sometimes it like sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
And I was at that Chipotle down the street. I
Yeah.
haven't been at Chipotle in a long time.
Yeah.
And just randomly walked down and was having a fucking meal.
When you get a burrito, get a side of vinaigrette to drizzle on every bite.
That's the key.
That is... So many people sleep on the vinaigrette at Chipotle.
I didn't even know they had it.
Now, have I made you try it? Yes.
Have I had it?
Yes.
Did I like it?
And you literally went, what the fuck? Why have I not been doing this?
Yeah.
I was like, I know, bud. Sorry, go ahead. It's a little Chipotle nugget.
Yeah, I was having a little Chipotle, and grief just was like, hey, let's have a chat.
Yeah.
And I almost cried at a fucking Chipotle.
Yeah.
Because one of the
As one does.
yeah,
As one does.
one of the last memories I have of my mother is after Wayne passed, my stepfather. I'm back home in Ohio, and they are picking me up from my cousin's house. And right around my cousin's house, there's like a bunch of like food. It's in the afternoon, but there's like a bunch of like food little places, like in this little town center thing where my cousin used to live. And, I grew up in fucking nowhere, Ohio. And
Yeah.
so things like Target and Chipotle and things like that, like, that's too fancy for our town.
You guys did have a Rallies.
We
Was
did.
that new?
Yeah. Oh, no, we've always had a Rallies.
Fuck, Rallies is good.
Dude.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sorry to get off track. Rallies, best fries you can get at a
Oh.
fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
Yeah.
I remember I was very excited at your mom's funeral when I knew there was a Rallies in town.
Yeah.
And my next therapy is going to be trying to get a healthy relationship with food. Go ahead. I got a tummy boner right now.
Yeah. Like, anyways, about my dead mom, you're like, best fries
The
you could
best
get.
fries.
Hands down.
Right on Main Street. Rallies.
So we didn't have fancy things like Chipotle, whatever.
Not fancy. Yeah.
Yeah. So my mother is grieving,
Yeah.
and I can't recognize the weight of that. And I think this is a good time to open my mom up to new experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's go to Chipotle for lunch. And she's like, what is that? My mother,
Such a fun moment.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so here I thought, I was like, I'm going to fucking blow her mind. Like, she's going to love, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, here I am. Hey, monkey and fish.
Yeah.
I'm taking this fish to fucking Chipotle.
Yeah. At this point, you're a fish and you just grew your little monkey tail.
Yeah.
Because getting you to a Chipotle a few years ago
Yeah.
would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Onward.
Fish don't belong in Chipotle.
Yeah.
So we're in there, and I order my food, and then I'm trying to help my mom, with her stuff, but she's grieving. She's not herself. She's very overwhelmed, just in life in general, and very overwhelmed with this new experience. And Chipotle, it's in the afternoon. They're busy. There's a bunch of teenagers yelling at my mom about like, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
And she's trying to keep up, and she's asking questions, and they don't give a fuck.
Right.
And by this time, I've given up trying to help her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, shoot me off.
Yeah.
So she's getting angry, and eventually she loses her temper, and she goes, I'll just have nachos and cheese. And they go, man, we don't have nachos and cheese. And she was like, I'll have nothing. And then she storms off.
I didn't know your mom was British.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. My grandmother's eating just some like taco thing. I'm having a burrito. My mother's having nothing. She's staring out the window. And at the time, I didn't know it. I'm trying to get her to try things. She's beyond frustrated at this point and just shut down.
Probably embarrassed.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
A lot of things that I can't recognize because I haven't done any negative work on myself at all.
Negative work?
Negative fucking work.
Oh, negative. I see.
Yeah.
I got it.
I have. But therapy's not even a thing. I don't even know people go to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
You see,
Hey, man.
Yeah.
How long? So this is how long after Wayne died?
Maybe the same month.
Okay. Right. Your mom's grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah. You're not. Right?
You know.
Not also. You're not in the same exact place as your mom.
You and your little detective work.
It's not detective work. I'm just saying the negative side. I didn't even know. Yeah, no shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're hurting as much as she is. Why is that not part of the story?
Because
Okay, mom's looking out the window.
Because I don't matter. Anyways.
Now you're just talking like your dad.
I'm slurring? Okay. She's looking at this. She's frustrated. So having the hindsight now, when I'm at this Chipotle now, and almost crying by myself eating this burrito, I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like, why couldn't you see how much your mother was hurting? Why could the answer was so fucking just hey,
can I interrupt you?
Let's go to Taco Bell.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
I want to commend you on that self-talk. Real growth. Onward?
Yeah. And I was like, the answer's so just like cater to her a little fucking bit.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, you were grieving too. Yeah. You're just doing your best.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I know. You're just doing your best.
Yeah.
Let's take our last break. Support the podcast. That'd be great. Patreon. We have merch at secondhandtherapypod.com. If you want to contact us, you can do so. You can call or text us, 818-850-2448. You can send us mail, P.O. Box 230595, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89105. If you missed any of that, go to any of our social media pages. There's a link tree. There's a contact us. You can find all that there. Thank you guys for listening. Here's a couple ads.
Trying to work through, again, the logical side.
Yeah.
Of being like, you don't know what you don't know. You couldn't recognize that at the time. That wasn't on your fucking radar. Like, but emotionally, still ouchy. Guilt, shame.
Yeah.
All those things that go along with it.
So in the vein of, I could have done more.
Yeah.
So let's say you do go back. You could.
Yeah.
And go, hey, Ma, fuck this. Let's go to Chipotle. Or let's go to Taco Bell.
Right.
She's not sad anymore? Like, what's the fantasy?
It takes away that everything we just talked about, that overwhelming feeling for her, that embarrassment, that frustration. Like, it just makes life easy for her in that moment when I could have made life easy for her in that moment.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, she's going to be sad either way, right?
For sure.
For sure.
But do you think she might feel embarrassed that now everyone has to go to a second restaurant? Because your mom's quite a people pleaser too.
Yeah.
You don't think she would have dug her heels in and be like, no, we can eat here. It's fine. I'm not even hungry.
I guess I'd rather have that fight with her than the memory of her sitting there frustrated, looking out the fucking window, eating nothing. I'd rather have the fight of just being like, get in the fucking car, we're going to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear anything else. I'd
Mm.
rather have that be
Yeah.
the memory than what it is.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
You did the best you could. You did your best, dude. Try to take your mom to a great place. We should be excited.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. It didn't work out the way you'd hoped.
Yeah. And that's what it comes back around to with a lot of this frustration is the gratitude of what is the gratitude of reality instead of the guilt and shame of all the other and the frustration of everything else. And like, and then also looking at, well, what are the options for the future? I've struggled for a long time with, again, wanting to figure out a way how can I give back to my hometown? And a few years ago, the school I went to was losing funding, and they were going to get shut down and like all these things. And I had thought about going back home and doing some kind of fundraiser show and, you know, whatever the fuck. And I couldn't do it.
Why not?
Too frustrated.
Yeah.
Too angry. Too disappointed. Too heartbroken.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Michael Malone put himself first. Holy shit. Good for you, man. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of flying yourself home to be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I am really, really, really trying hard to learn how to protect my peace. And that's really hard for me.
Yeah. Have you ever valued peace? I always felt it always came across to me like you craved chaos.
I don't like the chaos. I like to be busy.
I was going to say, you usually call it being in motion. Yeah.
I like to be in motion, but I don't necessarily like drama. I feel like chaos comes with like is paired with drama or like that kind of thing, and I don't want anything to do with that. But I like to be in motion. I like to be busy. I like to be problem solving in different ways. Because we know why. Because if I'm not, then where is my value?
If I'm not fixing everything around me, why am I here?
Hey.
Why would anyone like me
Hey.
if I'm not fixing things?
Hey. If I'm not providing some kind of service.
Yeah.
Fuck you need me for?
Oh, hey, don't. Just have you around because we like you. And we want you here.
Yeah.
We don't need you. We just want you. You know?
Buddy, that is so hard to understand.
That's because I'm lying. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I meant it. I meant it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love the guy that just sits in the corner and shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
I love that guy. And then when he talks, you're like, dude, I kind of like this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever been in a place and like the guy that's like trying to be friends with everybody, and you're like, buddy, give me a rest. And then you got the guy that's just like minding his own business, but then when there is a moment for him to engage, he does it, and you're like, I kind of fucking like this guy.
Yeah.
That's my kind of guy.
That's my kind of guy.
That's my kind of guy. Yeah.
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 Mm.
Do you want to be that guy? Or do you, what do you,
I feel like I'm the guy who doesn't say anything at all.
Jesus Christ.
You think I'm like life of the party guy.
No, I don't think you're life of the party guy.
Or like look at me guy.
You are look at me guy.
Oh no. In
a room of people you know?
Yeah.
Oh, in a room of people you know?
Yeah.
Buddy, stop it.
No.
In a room of strangers, very quiet.
Yeah.
In a room of people you know, is he already on Adderall? That's what we're talking about.
No, I'm making my rounds, but I'm not like...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Buddy.
No.
Buddy.
No way.
Buddy.
Okay, what about... Okay. What about at the live show?
What about it?
Afterwards, like, do you think I'm like going nuts, or do you think I'm?
No, I think you have a lot of training for like meet and greets after a show.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of have that down pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know that people come to see you, and if they're stopping to say hi after show, it's probably because they like you.
Yeah.
So no, I think you're very good at a meet and greet. I'm not insulting you.
No, I'm just trying to think of like.
I'm not trying to.
No. I was just.
Feel?
Because I don't view myself as like.
Oh, I know.
Going nuts guy.
You don't view yourself as anxious. You don't view.
Well, yeah. But like.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back at the last few like little house parties I've been to, and I just talk to people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And I stay in that little circle.
Hey, then I must be wrong. That's fine.
No, I'm just wondering, like, if that's true or not.
Well, who cares? If you're happy with how it goes, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, I think I'm too quiet. I think I'm weird quiet. Yeah, maybe not with people that I know, but like, yeah, if I'm at a house party or a public setting like that, like, I'm the invisible man.
One of my girl's sisters made a remark to my girl about me, and she passed it along. She's like, you know what my sister said about you that is so true? And I go, what? She goes, you know, Lou, he really knows when to talk and when not to talk. And I was like, I do think that is a skill I have. I just kind of hang back, and I'm like, well, that ain't for me.
Yeah.
I'm a great listener. Great listener.
Yeah.
I've never found, I also don't have interest, but I've also never found value in like just chiming in, just to chime in.
Yeah.
I'll never do that. I took that as a nice compliment.
That's great. Yeah. Good for you.
Thanks, man.